Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day to start things off. Hashtag, a subsidiary of the Gibraltar Stock Exchange Group, or the GSX Group, has partnered with Singapore-based technology company STO Global X to facilitate the issuance of tokens. The development was announced by the Gibraltar Blockchain Exchange, or the GBX, on the 5th of April. GSX's subsidiary Hashtags Inc. and STO Global X will jointly launch an integrated tokenized securities exchange product that will purportedly allow exchanges and other qualified financial institutions to tokenize assets and boost trading, clearing, and settling of digital securities. The collaboration aims to integrate STO Global X's tokenization platform and exchange technology with Hashtag Securities Asset Trading Classification System, or Settlement, STACS network. The solution will include an institutional-grade security token exchange and trading platform complete with multi-factor authentication and military-grade encryption. Last December, the GBX, which is another subsidiary of the GSX, announced that it is offering issuance of all tokens listing on the platform through the partnership with local firm Callaghan Insurance Brokers. The Gibraltar Stock Exchange, we don't hear about them as much, but it's nice to hear that they are, it is fairly obvious that they are into the cryptocurrency game space, whatever you kind of want to say. Whoa, almost had to sneeze. Wait. Sorry about that. Moving on, I was having a conversation with someone yesterday, and the most interesting thing that I found out, or the thing that I thought was the most interesting takeaway from the conversation, is I'll put it to you this way. For some reason, the last couple of days, I've been doing a lot of hanging out and going out with people and meeting new friends and stuff like that, or rather meeting new people who are the friends of other people who I've known. Anyway, the conversation of cryptocurrencies, for some reason, I'm not exactly sure why, continuously comes up. Like it's almost like a switch that kind of flips on at some point. Someone mentions crypto or Bitcoin or something like that. And the conversations that I've been having over the last 3 days have been very interesting. And I've noticed that a lot of people who got into cryptocurrencies around 2017 think that the industry is dead. And one of the conversations that I had yesterday, I don't know if this new person is listening. Hello, if you are. He was asking what's been happening in the cryptocurrency space exactly. How is it evolving? He hasn't heard anything about it. None of his friends talk about it. No one really, it's never in the news. And I was telling him, I was like, no, things are developing really fast. I was like, we have stock exchanges all around the world who are now integrating these things into their platforms, who are making sure that they can tokenize all assets, so that they can tokenize securities, and they're building up their things very quickly. And this happened during 2018. And I noticed, and it was a weird revelation that should have kind of got to me before, but throughout the prices going down for cryptocurrencies, a lot of normal everyday people just kind of stopped caring. This is what I talked about before. I was like, for some reason, you can scream that there's a financial digital revolution happening right before everyone's eyes, but no one really cares until the prices of everything starts going back up. Like, by the time Bitcoin is around $15,000, I think a lot more people will start to care, air quotes, once again, about the cryptocurrency space. So many people aren't paying attention to the fact that all of this stuff is going on. I mentioned to this person, hello once again if you're listening, probably not, that the NASDAQ is making their own cryptocurrency exchange. So is the New York Stock Exchange with Bakkt. So is the German Stock Exchange, the Gibraltar Stock Exchange, the Swiss Stock Exchange, the Jamaican Stock Exchange. And I was mentioning all these things and all these other partnerships and this thing with Fidelity. And the person's face kind of lit up because they kind of really understood all at once exactly what I was just talking about. And I don't know. It's just a very odd situation where we ourselves, I guess, because especially if you watch or listen to my videos or other videos or read whatever the case might be every single day, you get the full scope of exactly what's happening. You know that the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund and central banks and Federal Reserves are also in the cryptocurrency space as well. But I guess to normal people, they just really don't understand exactly the scope of what's happening and how. I was trying to explain this to someone else a couple days ago as well, and I tried to, you know how you try not to act like a jerk, but you try to let them really know. And I was explaining to them, and I was like, yeah, in probably 5 to 10 years, everything you do is going to be digital. There probably will be very little cash actually floating around, and most of what you do, especially if you decide to end up investing or buying stocks and bonds and stuff like that, especially on major platforms, it'll all be digitized. It'll all be the digitization of everything, And also the actual, I was explaining to some people that certain stock exchanges around the world, they're thinking of, and they're probably going to end up having this as well, where you can buy for your stocks and securities or whatever the case might be in actual cryptocurrency. And then when you cash out, you can also get it back in cryptocurrencies. And they were like, yeah, that's never going to happen. And I was like, I think people who just don't care about the space or just aren't in the space just really don't get it. I guess that was my runoff tangent. But I mean, this is kind of, explaining all this stuff that's been happening. Like we hear this news every single day, so we see the route and the road that all of this is taking, but I guess a lot of other people just really don't get it, and I think they won't maybe ever really get it, but there'll definitely be some of the people who are going to jump back into the market dramatically once Bitcoin is back over 10,000. Very interesting to think about. Actually, hold on, this is the actual thing on their website where they actually announced that they're doing the GBX, the crypto Harper, and they explain the actual partnership and digitization of and tokenizing securities and stuff like that. Next up, Binance is in the news. Binance's official digital currency wallet app, the Trust Wallet, has added staking for cryptocurrencies. The development was announced by Binance in a blog post a couple days ago. Apparently no one really heard about it. The staking feature, which is scheduled to be launched by Binance by the end of the second quarter of 2019, that is around June, enables users to earn dividends or interest on their investment for validating transactions and allowing them to vote on changes in the blockchain. Staking rewards are byproduct of the proof of stake or the POS consensus algorithm. We have proof of work and then we also have proof of stake. Launching the staking feature will purportedly let Trust Wallet support proof of stake cryptocurrencies. Additionally, Trust Wallet added support for Tezos and is planning to include support for staking in the Tezos on-chain governance mechanism. In late March, Coinbase Custody, which provides storage facilities for institutional investors, revealed that it is seeking to expand its suite of services to include staking of Tezos. Though its offline storage services, investors will be able to participate in networks such as Tezos using Coinbase as a regulated intermediary. There's a podcast that I listen to, and I know it's from the Wall Street Journal, so if you type in WSJ on your podcast app, you should be able to find it relatively easily. And I think it's called The Future of Everything. This is normally the one that I listen to, like Money Briefing, The Future of Everything, and there's a third one that I can't remember off the top of my head, but I have it, it downloads automatically. On The Future of Everything, I think it was this one. They had a discussion, or it was like a 10-minute video where they were talking about the actual, the cryptocurrency market, where crypto's going, and they were talking about the new dividends that you can get from cryptocurrencies. And I thought it was incredibly fascinating because we've been talking about proof of stake for quite a while. Most of us should understand what proof of stake kind of is at the surface, as far as like creating new coins. With proof of work, for those who don't know, you need thousands of computers to be able to mine Bitcoin or Ethereum. That's proof of work. Proof of stake is the other thing that Ethereum is moving over to. You pretty much, the more coins that you have, you show your stake in the network. And typically how proof of stake works, the more coins that you have, the more of a reward or a dividend that you get from the actual coin. And in the actual podcast, they were talking about the host. It was so funny because you can tell he was trying to be open-minded, but he thought that proof of stake was something that was just invented maybe like a couple of days ago, because the guy was talking about how Coinbase had launched a new feature with Tezos, so that you're able to stake your Tezos, and therefore I think you get like the return that you get is around 7.5%, if I'm not mistaken, from the actual staking of Tezos through the Coinbase platform. And the guy, the host, was like, so they're trying to be a bank now? They're just trying to give people free money? And the other guy had to explain what proof of stake was, and the guy was like, oh, okay, I think I get it. But it was just very fascinating to see that a lot of people who are not into the cryptocurrency space think that everything that they have never heard about is like a new scam or a scheme, or like something that's happening that is being invented very quickly to try and get more money into the cryptocurrency space, not realizing that we've had proof of stake for, it's about 4, 5, I even say 6 years. Like, this isn't a new concept. It's, I remember staking like some of the first proof of stake tokens. I mean, they were horrible, but it was very interesting to see exactly like usually you just had to have them like in your actual wallet, and you had to have them for like over like it was like a 10-hour, 12-hour, 24-hour period. It was always something ridiculous to have your coins mature, air quotes, and then you were able to start staking, and you would get free coins, as it were, as you were validating transactions on the network. What I'm seeing, and this goes once again to the conversation that we were having a couple of days ago, where Andreas Antonopoulos and many other people were calling Coinbase an actual bank. This is it. This is kind of the solidification of all of these conversations that a lot of people have been having as to if this is going to happen. What a lot of, and I mean to even a further extent as well, is going to be Binance as well. If you think that Binance is going to give up their spot as the #1 crypto exchange in the world, you are sadly mistaken. I can only imagine the conversation that they actually have behind closed doors. What's happening now is that there are many, so the idea is that when you are a regulated cryptocurrency exchange or something like that, people want custody. And this is why the Coinbase custody thing comes into play, because people want to be able to be sure, if I hand $10,000 to my bank, I need to know that should that money go lost or disappear or explode or whatever, that I am insured. I'm going to get my stuff back because you are the custodian of the people who are holding my money. The same exact thing is happening for cryptocurrency exchanges right now, where there's, we had the news yesterday from Coinbase. I think they have like $250 million hot wallet custody insurance claim or something like that. So while the traditional banking sector may remain the same as it is, what we're seeing is the emergence of cryptocurrency exchanges who are also now becoming similar to banks. We give them our money, they hold our money is on their platform, and we in some way trust them enough to actually have our money on their platforms. The next step of this is that because normally, if you have your money in a bank, if you have your money in a CD or whatever the case might be through an actual bank, you'll typically notice that the interest rate that you get from actually lending your money to the bank is always normally less than 1%, typically normally less than 1%. But a lot of the cryptocurrencies that are coming out, especially some of the more popular ones that are proof of stake in order to be able to create coins on their network, have an inflation rate that usually is then given to the people who actually hold that proof of stake coin. And this is why everyone is so hyped for Ethereum actually becoming a proof of stake network. It's probably going to become a proof of stake hybrid. As far as we know right now, there won't be a complete implementation of proof of stake until around 2021, maybe 2022. Anyway, the idea is, or rather what I'm interested in seeing develop further, because this is going to happen, like there's kind of no way around this. And I think it's only because we're seeing Tezos, and it's not that Tezos isn't unpopular, but it's not a coin that we hear about every single day in the cryptocurrency space. And it's also kind of interesting that Coinbase and Binance decided to go for Tezos first. Kind of interesting. What we're going to eventually see is that other proof of stake coins, especially like Cardano, Ethereum, once they have, the what's it called? The hybrid thing kind of going on with their mining thing, we're going to start seeing other places start announcing these things as if they were your normal bank. Remember, I mentioned that before. I was waiting for exactly when that flip was going to happen, and it happened so suddenly and so silently, and it doesn't really, not that it should be ringing any alarms in anyone's head, but it's more like it happened and no one really took notice. So eventually, I assume it'll take about a full year, maybe year. I give it a year and a half. Let's say a good 16, 17 months from where we are right now. We're going to have a world where these cryptocurrency exchanges are only going to become larger as more people get into the cryptocurrency space. Like we have like 25 million individual Bitcoin addresses. As more people get into the cryptocurrency space, what's going to end up happening is that while these companies and corporations and Binance and so can't exactly say, hey, we're going to buy 10 million ASICs and we're going to mine cryptocurrencies for you, they can say, if you give us your cryptocurrencies that have a proof of stake mechanism behind it, you give it to us, they put it into their own mining pools, and then they pay you out every however quick the payments actually end up being. That's a huge marketing incentive for people to not only get into the cryptocurrency space, but to stay in the cryptocurrency space and to buy more of that cryptocurrency that's making them money. Like if you've ever had a stock that has a dividend and you are, let's say that stock is like normally, okay, and this is where it gets very interesting because the rates of return on cryptocurrencies are sometimes maddening. Like you imagine buying a stock that's $100 for simplification, round number $100, and that stock has a dividend of 3.5%. You are then making $3.50 by the end of the year. If you have a cryptocurrency that has a return rate of 7%, 8%, that it will gradually lower over the course of a 2-year period, then it goes on to 6, 2-year period goes on to 4, so and so. You're still making back a lot more money than you would have from some of even the largest stocks that we actually have in the world right now. And then that doesn't wow, my lord, that doesn't even factor in the amount of growth that you will actually be able to also get from that cryptocurrency rising in price. Like imagine you buying a cryptocurrency, random number, that's $1. It has an let's say a 7% inflation rate. At the end of every whatever period, you're making back 7%. You make, 7 cents on that. You go one day, I have enough money. I'm going to start buying more of this coin. And the money that you're actually making from the 7% of that coin, and let's say that coin ends up becoming really popular, gets caught up in a bull run, is one of the top, 20, 30, 40, 50 coins. It has a relatively okay high volume. And your coin that you bought goes from $1 to $15. You're still making 7% on that $15 per actual coin that you have. And this is why I don't know if it's just something that's kind of not obscure, but I think people aren't really paying attention to how big this is actually going to be. Like when you talk about getting people into a new space, into a new arena, into a new something that they're not really familiar with, and you announce that you can get an automatic, like mathematically proven 7.5% from the actual staking of an actual cryptocurrency that could then potentially in the future also rise by 10 times, 50 times over the course of a 10, 15-year period. Like, do you understand how much money will then flow into that? This is why I think it was very interesting that they chose Tezos. It was kind of I would have assumed that they would have chosen something else, but I think Coinbase has their hands in many different cookie jars that we just haven't really figured out the full extent of it yet. Anyway, yeah, it's incredibly fascinating because it's something that I'm also interested in as well. Like I can't think of any proof of stake coins that I have off the top of my head, but it's definitely been something. Cardano, yeah, it's definitely something that I have looked at and thought about as well. Because if these protocols and if these coins and if these blockchains end up becoming some of the largest things in the entire world, and these coins end up going, 100x over the course of the next 10 years. And I can still get anywhere from a 4, 5, 6, 7% return every single year on top of that as well. Like it's just very interesting how, and I think people in the cryptocurrency space aren't paying enough attention to things like this. And when normal people who are into the cryptocurrency space get wind of all of this stuff that's happening, especially when you talk about like actually having like institutional investors actually get into this as well, like I don't know. It's very, very fascinating. Like you can put $1 million into something over the course of a 3, 4, 5 year period. It goes up by 10x. You've made $9 million on top of that. You have 10 million, and then you're making a 7% return on top of that. That's $700,000 per year. I mean, not this, that's not me telling you to go out there and buy Tezos, but you understand like the implications of having stuff like this. And I am interested to see, and I hope that they do it a bit quicker, but I'm interested to see exactly which other coins that Coinbase and Binance are going to be adding to their platform, because it'll cause individual coin bull runs, especially if these coins, end up taking. Okay, I'm done with the topic, but it's just I think it's very fascinating when you talk about the switch of banks and stuff like that. And I think the next point up, and I don't think we're going to get there for maybe about a year or so, maybe the New York Stock Exchange or the NASDAQ will also do this. But when your normal bank starts allowing you to hold your cryptocurrencies with them, and they offer you this same exact staking service, we will know without a doubt there will be no more questions that cryptocurrencies have officially taken over and that crypto is now the new way of life. Like, I think it'll take a while for banks to finally get into it, but we've seen enough banks who are already talking about that they want to have what's it called? Custody services on their platform, and like, you can hold your crypto with us. But I think the next step is them finally coming to the conclusion that nobody really wants to hold a bond for 10, 15, 20 years just to get a 1% annualized return, as opposed to holding on to something that could 10, 100x in price and you still get a 7% return. I don't know. Anyway, let's move on. It's I can go on forever. Like it's incredibly fascinating. Next up, cryptocurrency indices provider AltDex has launched a cryptocurrency index of gaming-related tokens. The company announced the development in a blog post on the 4th of April. AltDex has developed a benchmark index for the blockchain gaming industry dubbed AltDex Gaming Index, because why not? The index is designed to track cryptocurrencies and tokens of blockchain-based projects related to video games, esports, and other analogous decentralized applications. Per the post, AltDex Index is applied in respect to 13 coins. They are Theta Token, Engine, Wax, Decentraland, Kin, Loom Network, Mobile Go, D Market, Referium, okay, Game Credits, Unicoin Gold, Player, and BitGuild, which has the name Plat for some reason. In March, Ethereum-based digital asset tokenization startup Engine revealed it would launch a software development kit, or an SDK, for gaming development engine Unity. The SDK will reportedly allow Unity developers to create, integrate, and manage the distribution of ERC 1155 compliant tokens on the Ethereum blockchain. Sorry. Gaming tokens and gaming things for cryptocurrencies are expected to be, or rather, I think a lot of people have come to the consensus or the idea that the idea is that cryptocurrency is looking for a killer app. We're looking for something that tons of people around the world will be able to use very easily at a moment's notice. And the idea is that it has to, or rather it is going to be some type of a gaming platform, whether that is mobile gaming, on your phone, on a console, on a something else, but it is going to run on a blockchain, and it is going to do all these other things. And there's a lot of them expected to launch relatively soon. We still have not heard word back from the people from EOS and Blizzard. They were kind of working together with their gaming platform, whatever they were trying to create. The next step in the cryptocurrency space gaming industry is that a lot of people are trying to make sure, or rather, the idea is that everybody wants to make sure. How do I explain it in the easiest way? They want to make sure that when you're playing a video game that you have control over the items in the actual game, and that you can actually keep them and drag them over into other games. So like if you love the sword in one game that you were playing, and you start playing 3 other games, you're like, I missed that sword. You can drag it then over to one of the other games and start actually playing with that sword as well, or even keep it. And the idea is that at some point, as digital assets become even larger than they already are, that people will start valuing digital swords that you can actually track on a blockchain to see that there's only one of them, because this is the only one that you have, and you'll be able to sell them off. It's kind of the same exact idea with like digital land and Decentraland and all this other stuff. It's very the stuff that people are thinking of. It's just kind of incredible. It comes down to, people said, let's say 2019, where we are right now, people were saying, back in 1995, you never would have assumed that we would have had a YouTube, that we would have had cryptocurrencies, that we would have had an Uber, apps and all these other blah, 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 blah. So the stuff that's kind of coming out right now for the cryptocurrency space is all this very weird, abstract stuff that will eventually seem completely normal to us. But the stuff that we're going to have in around 10 to 15 years will kind of completely blow our minds, because we can't even begin to think of the implications or the applications that blockchain technology and the tokenization of assets will actually have on us as a society. Very interesting. Next up, a South African crypto exchange has partnered with an international blockchain-based payment processing firm. The merger between X and PundiX will allow early cryptocurrency adopters to spend their holdings in real-world locations in South Africa. With millions of South Africans living without access to banking facilities, the merger could help drive digital asset adoption in the nation, according to the South African technology publication IT Online. Local exchange platform X will work with global blockchain payments firm PundiX to introduce the latter's XPOS point-of-sale devices into retail locations. South African crypto users will be able to top up PundiX's XPass cards with various digital currencies and spend them in real-world shops. Crypto supported by PundiX's XPOS device will include Bitcoin, Ether, and Binance Coin, amongst others. I hate that they say amongst others as opposed to just saying what the other cryptocurrencies are, especially when you have Binance Coin in there. The goal, according to the startup's website, is to install a minimum of 100,000 of these point-of-sale units by February 2021. Here's the actual, what they have on the PundiX website for the actual thing that we were just talking about with the XPOS. It's quite fascinating. We don't hear about PundiX as often, and this is what I think could be a, how do I say this? This is what I think could actually allow them to grow a lot quicker. A lot of other cryptocurrency projects, and these are the ones that I've normally given like a major thumbs up to. It comes down to the cryptocurrency projects that are targeting countries in Africa, or either Africa completely, Southeast Asia, or South America. There's so much, how do I say this? There's so much potential in the amount of people who can get into the cryptocurrency space in these countries, in these regions, on these continents, but a lot of people are not really paying attention to them, and people tend to pay attention to the North American market. And by that, I mean like the US and Canada, and also Western Europe, and there's so much money and growth to actually be had. There are billions of people around the world who have no access to banking facilities, to banking anything. They keep their money under their mattresses, or they simply don't have enough money, or what. I mean, people are still putting their money in their backyards. I mean, we live in very interesting times. When you start targeting countries like this, or allowing them to have a situation where they can use your cryptocurrency, find out what cryptocurrencies are, and actually use your crypto in multiple spaces around their countries or their towns or their so and so, you create you create a like a very early funnel where when other companies and other institutions are realizing, hey, there's money to be made there, they start going over there. These other people will go, well, I've been using Pundi X for a couple of years. Why should I use your coin? It's kind of the same exact thing like with the M-Pesa. Like a lot of there are a couple African countries who are using something called the M-Pesa, and other countries, companies and conglomerates have tried to get into these countries as well with their own little thing, and nobody really wants to use it because everyone's been using the M-Pesa for so long. So I don't know. It's very fascinating. Like I said, we don't hear about Pundi X as often. They're definitely not a coin that we even hear like on a weekly basis. However, I do applaud them for doing things like this. I mean, it's Pundi X, it's Ripple, it's Cardano, and I think there's one other one. I understand the need and desire to want to target Western Europe and also the US and Canada, but there's an immense amount of money. Like if you were able to, same as I think with the people from Dash as well when they went to Venezuela. When you are early enough and you get into these countries and these systems and you let people know that you exist, and you kind of cater to them and say, hey, this is me, this is us, this is what we do, we can help you. You don't have a bank account? Do you have a smartphone? Do you have one of those old like Nokia phones, like the really like clunky ones? Like people have found a way as well to be able to send cryptocurrencies through text as well. Like you get people on your train a lot earlier than everybody else. Like imagine a situation where in 2021, Pundi X is one of the only companies in South Africa who is like really driving the usage of cryptocurrencies to people who don't have bank accounts. Like it's incredibly fascinating. I wish that more cryptocurrency projects did things like this, but I mean, everyone has their focus, everyone has their goal. Anyway, let's move on. Bitcoin Cash is in the news, and I'm gonna swing through this one. You may have noticed, I have noticed, for some reason, Bitcoin, normal Bitcoin, can go up by 3 or 4%, and then Bitcoin Cash goes up by like 21%. Like it just, I have my own feelings and reservations about Bitcoin Cash. However, for the sake of argument, people have been trying to figure out exactly why Bitcoin Cash has been going up. What is causing this constant meteoric rise of Bitcoin Cash when it's barely been in the news, when people aren't really talking about it as much? People are saying that the successful launch of the Simple Ledger protocol for creating tokens on the Bitcoin Cash blockchain has been cited as a catalyst, as well as for the pop and Bitcoin Cash futures trading on Kraken. Another thing that people are saying is that Bitcoin.travel now accepts Bitcoin Cash, and therefore this could have, if you're trying to book a flight, you can now use Bitcoin Cash. That doesn't really make a lot of sense because at the same exact time, Bitcoin.travel also added Ethereum, Litecoin, Dogecoin, Ethereum Classic, and Dash, and those coins aren't really going up. The other thing that a lot of people think that it could be is that apparently the Bitcoin Cash dev team has announced that they are going to be upgrading the Bitcoin Cash network every 6 months. And therefore, it says at first brush baking, what? And 6 month network upgrade seems something of a gimmick or perhaps an ideological driven gambit to emphasize Bitcoin Cash's ease of upgradability in contrast to the slow pace of development seen in the Bitcoin dev community with this notoriously ponderous governance. One of the main ideas behind Bitcoin Cash is that we can upgrade, and therefore we are going to. So it appears that the idea that they would be upgrading or strengthening their network every 6 months as opposed to every 4 or 5 years for the number one coin, Bitcoin, this could have been a push up in price. I don't know. I'm a little skeptical. There have been certain coins that for some reason, when the market is going up, these coins go up by like 40%, and it's like, who is pushing your price up? I also saw a couple of days ago when Bitcoin Cash was first like shooting up in price, I saw something that was very interesting. And it comes down to the fact that the person who keeps promoting Bitcoin Cash the most his name is Roger Ver. He also had a hand in creating Bitcoin Cash, but it kind of is what it is. He lives in Japan, and apparently he's been doing so much promotion for Bitcoin Cash as the actual Bitcoin. This is just what I read. My hands are in the air. This is the information I absorbed that I am now giving to you. Apparently, the idea is that he lives in Japan and he's been doing so much field work in the name of Bitcoin Cash as the real Bitcoin that people in Japan now think of Bitcoin Cash as the actual real Bitcoin, as opposed to a fork of Bitcoin. It's the same exact thing that happened a year and a half ago, where on the Bitcoin Cash website, they had changed the name of Bitcoin Cash simply to Bitcoin, and the name of Bitcoin on their website to Bitcoin Core, which caused more confusion. So the idea is that Roger Ver has been on this evangelical hunt, or whatever you kind of want to call it, and has let enough people know that Bitcoin Cash is the real Bitcoin, that a lot of people in Japan are now buying up as much Bitcoin Cash, or causing these actual spikes because they are somewhat confused. Once again, these are not my words. This is what I read around. We have known for quite a long amount of time that Roger Ver is in Japan, and especially if you watch some of there are videos of him walking around Tokyo and stuff like that, like handing out Bitcoin Cash flyers and stuff like that. It does make sense a little bit. It's a little not nice is the word that I kind of want to say. But anyway, it kind of helps to explain a little bit why Bitcoin Cash has been shooting up in price when no one is really talking about it. To kind of finish things off, we're getting a lot of information, and I'll show you. I think there's a graph somewhere down here. A lot of people are saying, all right, I'll read it out to you. It says, as reported by MarketWatch, Fundstrat analyzed Bitcoin's average returns over a 6-month period. Whenever the cryptocurrency traded above or below its 200-day moving average, they said based on Bitcoin's trading history, a move above the 200-day for Bitcoin is meaningful statistically. When Bitcoin is above its 200-day, its win ratio is 80% compared to a mere 36%. When it's below its 200-day, and 6M forward returns average 193% compared to a measly 10% when below its 200-day moving average. Hence, being above the 200-day is a big deal. People are stating that apparently Bitcoin is showing signs of like an upward wedge, upward triangle, upward whatever this is. Can't remember the name right now. And that apparently, if this holds true as Bitcoin is above its 200-day moving average, that Bitcoin could be setting itself up for a move above 10,000. And the number that's constantly being quoted by many people, we were even talking about this yesterday. This is something completely different than even what we were talking about before, because other people are also now coming to this conclusion that Bitcoin could be on its way above either $12,000 or somewhere around the $13,500 figure. These are just what the analysts are saying. I find it kind of interesting sometimes. I'm not a big TA guy, but you got to admit, it is kind of exciting to hear things like this. At the moment, though we are in the weekend, Bitcoin is above $5,000. It is currently at $5,143. It is up almost 3%. Kind of interesting. Let's see if it actually ends up holding on. There's a lot of hype right now around Litecoin. A lot of people are waiting for, I think was it yesterday or something? I don't remember. Litecoin was at $95. A lot of people are waiting for it to go around 97, and they believe that this is going to be the point of no return, and it'll kind of go over $100, and that apparently is a huge level of resistance. I think Litecoin can do it. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, by the middle of this week, that it's actually gone above it. Bitcoin Cash is at $322. It's up 12%. Why? I don't think there are any other, except for like Ethereum Classic, but that's something entirely different. Really up right now. Anyway, yeah, I think that is actually going to do it for this video. We had a very long discussion about the cryptocurrency space and exactly where things are going. I don't really have a cold anymore. It's more like this really annoying dry cough, and maybe the air is just too dry, maybe there's just too much dust everywhere. I really wish I knew. Anyway, it is nice to see that prices are in green. It's really weird. I had a dream that I woke up and Bitcoin was, I think, at 57.23, and I was like, what? It was like this really weird moment in the dream where I was literally shocked, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's finally happening. So if by the end of the week Bitcoin is over 57 or hits 57.23, you'll know my dreams have power. Anyway, awkward. I hope you all enjoyed. I hope you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are. Wherever in this crazy world you might be, I hope it's absolutely fantastic. There's so much happening in the cryptocurrency space. It's very difficult to keep up with all of it. Like, there's always something happening in multiple coins and multiple projects and multiple exchanges and multiple countries and multiple this and multiple laws and multiple rules. It's kind of all over the place. As always, an enormous thank you to my Patreon supporters. They are Essie Verzely, Fine Art, Crypto Artist Coldy 3D, Shaolin Fried Rice, RF Dusty, Crypnotic, Minting Coins, Setsuna, Nicholas One Earth, One Piece One Love, Jeffrey Dam, Paxis, Carl Birchenoff, Cody, Jeffrey Ramsey, Richie Rich III, Amy Starsheen, Jeremy Fox, Jared Schneider, Jim Gardner, Crypto Joe, Joey Carafa, Wise Night Owl, Singer-Songwriter, Mike Savitz, Nick Kanaya, Anthony Charles, Yasha Harari, Travis Haynes, Nick Mangialavori, Professor Wally from Gun, Bots University, Arthur Yaku, L. Doug, Brady Niels, Rai, Gilboa Snake, and Vlad the Impaler. Thank you all an incredible amount. Wow. An incredible amount for your generosity. Thank you all very, very much for all of your support. And yeah, I'll talk to you all soon. See you.